First of all, Bono Oliveira, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. I genuinely am happy to have you because I like you as a person, and you were one of the top 10 people I had in mind starting this podcast, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
I think you have something so unique to offer people, and I don't know if you even realize it yet, but we're definitely going to get into that. But I mean, right off the bat, I wanted to just tell everybody how much I admire your personality and how you've come up, and as well to let everybody know that my first impact of a family environment to Jiu Jitsu was seeing you, your father, and your brother. Right? So for me, like, Jiu Jitsu itself is a family, but it's different when you actually see a family together training Jiu Jitsu and growing up in that environment. So this is kind of why I wanted to talk to you today and why I want to have you over. You are what I consider patient zero or the one, because you are the first generation of Jiu Jitsu growing up under a black belt that is working in the UAE, right?
Yeah.
And then you yourself becoming a black belt.
Yeah, I mean, man, first of all, thanks very much for having me here. Like, you have no idea what such an honor it is.
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure.
If you even ask me around, I was like a little bit nervous before, but then I was like, man, you know what? Like, it's fine. Like, let's just have a chat.
Love it.
Man, everything was pretty crazy. Actually, Marcelo's Freitas is not my biological dad. He's my stepfather, but I do consider him just as my dad, you know. But people do come around and ask me like, oh, why is this surname Freitas? Why is your surname Oliveira? But I've been with him since I'm 8-year-old. Like, I've been trained with him. My mom had like contact with him back in Brazil.
I see.
So like I had this contact with Jiu-Jitsu pretty early in my life. Even though I stopped for a little bit back in Brazil, because he used to have an academy inside my school where I used to go. Mm-hmm. And he just had to move, like, business, it's normal stuff. He just had to move for another place in the city.
Okay.
I didn't personally had enough time or somebody to take me there at the time. Mm-hmm. So I had to quit it for a little while. But as soon as I was about 14, I started back again. And man, when I first came here, when he got married to my mom and everything, he brought me here. It was pretty crazy, man.
So let me just, sorry if I can interrupt you there. I just want to get some idea on like the backstory. Yeah. So you when you were 8, that's when he entered your life, right? You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I mean, no, even before that, he knew my mom from long ago. Like, but he was always like kind of a friend, like corner, like I would see around from time to time. He was taking me like for carnival to go around.
Nice.
What we call Club Comari and everything, like to play around. So he was always around. Like he and my mom know them. They know each other since they're teenagers. So that's like
nice. And
back then.
You were born in Brazil, right?
Yes, I was born in Terisopolis, Rio de Janeiro. It's like a small city beside Rio in the mountains.
Okay, and you studied in Portuguese, no English schools, nothing growing up, right?
Nothing, man.
Okay.
I hated English, man. I hated English. You have no idea how shocking was it for me that once I came out here, I was like,
I can imagine.
I need to learn this language.
man, listen, this is the thing. Like, I really wanted to talk to you because you have so much to offer, and we're going to get into that. Like, from your athletic background to the CrossFit that you do, we're going to get into really good stuff. And I'm excited for people listening, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But this is why I really wanted to pick your brain, because you are an example of somebody who's moved from a drastic environment to another one, had to adapt, adjust, because that's the handicap most people complain about, and you went through that. So 8 years old, when did you move to the UAE? How old were you?
I moved to the UAE in 2010.
Okay.
At the time I was already 15-year-old.
15.
I just had moved. I just had finished my 9th grade in Brazil, and I moved here on the 28th of December.
Okay.
That's when I first came here.
And by then, did you come? It was you, your mother, and Marcelo, right?
Yes, exactly. My brother, he was born in 2012, so he was around.
Your brother was born 2012 in the UAE.
Yeah.
Oh, this gets better and better, man. Your family is an experiment of jiu-jitsu. I love it.
Man, You have no idea. Like,
that is cool. That is cool. So you arrive in Abu Dhabi. All right, walk me through. Like, what happens? You're 15. You leave your home. You've never studied English.
Man, as I said, like I used to hate my teacher, my English teacher back in Brazil.
Okay.
I hated her. She used to pick on me. I was never a good student to start with, you know.
Okay.
Man, I'm like, as I'm a teacher nowadays, sometimes I go think to myself, like, man, that's what it must have been feel like. Make
it goes around.
People feel like, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But man, crazy thing. I came from Brazil. I had no idea. I didn't speak a word of English.
Okay.
All I knew is, how are you? What's your name? And even the how are you wasn't like, man, I can shoot for that.
And you didn't go to the US. You came to Abu Dhabi. You know?
I came to Abu Dhabi straight away. Yeah.
I love it.
And
okay.
Then, before coming here, Marcelo, he at the time, like, there wasn't I don't think there was a straight flight for Emirates to Rio yet, or there wasn't an Etihad flight yet. They put me in a layover in London, in UK. Okay. So I went for British Airlines, and I never had traveled in an airplane before. I never even had gone out of the southeast region of Brazil. I hadn't like traveled much whatsoever.
Wow.
They put me in the plane with there was somebody to help me, like a cabin crew and everything.
Ah, you were alone?
I was alone. My mom was already here. She moved 6 months before me.
Okay.
So my grandma put me in the plane. I came. I have no idea. I didn't know anything. The cabin crew would come to me and ask me a couple of stuff from Brazil to the UK to London to Heathrow. She would speak Portuguese, but then I stayed in Heathrow for 8 hours with another person, another cabin crew.
Whoa.
In a room, and I had no idea I had no skills of English. So I wanted to ask for water, for food that I didn't know. So I would trying to get pictures of food or something like that, like trying to mimic.
Wow.
And on the way from Heathrow to Abu Dhabi, then there was nobody on the plane that spoke Portuguese. And man, that for me, I was just like, people were coming to me like, hey, how are you? And I was just like, Bono.
Bono. Bene.
Yeah. And people would look at me like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, Bono, yeah, okay, all right.
Oh man, wow. So how did it feel landing in Abu Dhabi and you're in Rio, which is a green beachside, beautiful city in Brazil, and then you come to Abu Dhabi, buildings, tall, wide roads, sand, a different experience.
Yeah, I mean, at first it felt like São Paulo. São Paulo city, it's a lot of buildings, I haven't been to São Paulo twice before coming here.
Okay.
So it kind of felt like it.
And were you intimidated?
Not intimidated. I was just mesmerized by everything.
Nice.
I was like, man, wow. I didn't expect this to be it whatsoever. So beautiful, all these buildings, I never see anything like it. It's such a cultural shock.
Yeah.
And especially because when my mom told, we're moving to Abu Dhabi, I was like, where? She was like, oh, it's close to Dubai. And luckily, I had seen on HBO, back then they used to have advertisements and
nice,
come see Dubai and everything. So it's like, oh, so it's in the Middle East. Man, that right away felt like, man, that's going to be crazy. I'm moving to the Middle East.
Wow. I'm happy to hear this, man. I'm happy to hear this because I would have imagined that there might have been some hesitation. I'm sure leaving your friends and the people that you know back home was not easy.
Man, I mean, it's not I don't want to make it sound bad. It wasn't hard either.
Okay, good.
I know, because back home, my town is a very small town. Mm-hmm. And from time to time, I go back and I talk to a lot of people. It's not everybody who has the same opportunity, and that was very, very clear for me from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Bono, this is the opportunity. Take stuff serious now. Let's get it right. Go with an open mind and let's see. And
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with
mom,
that.
Yeah, especially my mom. She was always very, very straightforward with me. She was like, Bono, if you don't like it, we'll send you back. You have rights, but I wanted to try it. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Why not?
So you arrived here when, in the summertime or?
No, I arrived on the 28th of December, winter.
20th of December.
It was cold.
Okay, yeah, good. That's good. Thank God you arrived then.
Man, that was messed up, man, because I thought the whole year is gonna be like that cold. New Year's Eve we went to a beach was Marcelo, me, my mom, and a bunch of coaches, and it was cold as hell. We were making fire. It was so nice, you know. Nice. But then I thought to myself, like, I don't think that is that hot, you know, like. And then 6 months later, Ramadan and
slaps
the heat and some. Oh man!
Oh
I
yeah.
have no idea.
So did you start school right away after like, because you arrived December, I'm guessing January school starts. Did you start school?
Yeah, I started school as soon as the winter break was over.
Okay.
My dad had arranged it for me because, as I said, like I had no idea of English.
Yeah.
English language.
So what happened?
So my dad went to Marcelo. Sorry, when I speaking my dad, I'm probably referring to it.
I get you.
My dad, he went to Cambridge High School, and he spoke to the vice principal, who was a very straightforward guy, very nice guy. And he was like, look, what we're going to do for Bono is let him start now, right after the winter break.
Okay.
We're going to put him through all the classes. We're going to pass him this school year, but we're going to put him on year 9 again, because I had already accomplished the year 9 graduation back in Brazil.
Got you.
So they put me back. Even though Marcelo never told me this, he was like, you must study, you know, pass with good grades and get it right. And I was like, damn, right. And that's studying like crazy, you know, and trying to do my best. And by the end of the year, they came to me like, no, he learned very good English. Like you're gonna pass, don't you worry about it. And I was like, what? And then they're like, yeah, you know, we're gonna pass you. We told your dad. And I'm like, I've been busting my ass.
Yeah.
But man, it worked out nice. You know,
unbelievable.
I'm grateful either way. Like,
it's funny, the speed bumps that we get in life sometimes are blessings. You know what I mean? Like at the time, it doesn't feel really good when we see it and when it happens. But down the line now, as a man living his own life in the country, you appreciate giving the extra year for you to review. You know, because it's unbelievable. Like people need to understand that you came, like what you're saying, zero English and first time traveling, and look at you now. Perfect speaking English. You graduated from a school in the United Arab Emirates in a booming economy. Yeah. You're a black belt in Jiu Jitsu. Like it's unbelievable. Like everything. I'm so excited to be able to discuss this with you.
Yeah, man. You have no idea how grateful I am to start with. Like, man, especially because, as I told you, like sometimes I go back to Brazil and I see some friends of mine again, and I see like, man, I'm blessed. Like I have nothing to nothing other than thank God, thank Marcelo, and.
It's great that you have that mindset. It's great that you have that mindset. I mean, do you have any like early memories of being in the UAE? Something that like it clicks, some experience you having with the culture?
So many. To start with, man, I remember walking through the terminal in Dubai.
Okay.
And seeing people dressed different, like the woman with the hijab and everything. And I'm like, why are they dressed up like ninjas? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And then my mom came like, no, Bono, that's like she explained to me and everything. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Like that was so weird. Like, and I was like, why are these men wearing like this kind of dresses and everything? Even though like I seen like on TV and everything, like what some Arabs used to dress like, for example, people in Palestine and everything, like they wear the hutra and everything. I wasn't expecting.
It's like, a culture shock.
Like, it's TV. Like what are you talking about?
Absolutely. You know, you remind me of something really funny. There was a stand-up comedian that came from the States here, and a bunch of friends of mine knew him, and he had a show. So we picked him up from the airport, and we were hanging out. And then he's like, guys, listen, I got this funny bit in my head, and I want to say it in the show, but I don't know if I'm gonna get killed for saying it. Shoot it. And man, people went wild for this joke. So he's like, I'm in the airport, I'm standing to collect my bags, and I look around me and I see a bunch of women in the niqab and like they're covered up. Yeah. So he's like, I just had this wild thought. Has anybody ever taken the wrong wife home? Because you take the wrong bag from the airport. Has anybody ever taken the wrong wife home? Man, when he said this in the stand-ups, locals, everybody fell on the floor laughing. It's different, bro. It's a culture shock for people that don't see it.
It is. Man, especially for us, like in Brazil, we do have a lot of like Lebanese expats, and we have Syrians, and it's a mix of culture. But nobody there walks around in the Honduras, and it's only if they go to the mosque. Maybe if you live in a city which has a mosque, because I never even seen a mosque before coming here.
Right.
So man, for me, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like,
are you 100% from Brazil, or are you also part Portuguese?
Yeah, my mother's side, the family is Portuguese.
The family's
so we
Portuguese.
Do have,
okay.
Like, so we do have like a little bit of family, some spread around Portugal. And
okay, you know, because that's interesting. I have a few Portuguese friends, and I never knew this until I sat down and talked with them. But there's like cities called Fatima. There's places that have Arabic influence there. There's like, there's a genuine connection between old Arab culture and Portugal. So it was interesting for me to know that.
Yeah, the connection between the whole peninsula, Spain, Portugal, but Portugal specifically, it's huge. There's not only there's words in Portuguese which are the same in Arabic.
Absolutely,
they have all the meanings in Arabic. Places in Portugal which have and are built by Arabic. Like Arabic kind of style of architecture and everything else.
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
The connections, it's crazy.
So let me ask you something. When did you start jiu-jitsu in all of this mix? Was it before?
Man, yeah. I started, as I said before, I started jiu-jitsu when I was about 8, and then.
Okay. And was it Marcelo or what was it? Okay.
Marcelo.
And can I ask you, like, how did he convince you? Like, how did he take an 8-year-old and be like, come here, and take you onto the mat? Okay, good.
He did it.
Okay.
It was a friend. He started this program at the school that I used to go to, and a couple of friends of mine were like, "Yo, let's do this," and I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was never the guy who would say like, "Nah, that's not. I don't feel like it." If you call me to do like Bono, let's go for a hiking. All right, Bono, all right, let's go. And this friend of mine came up to me like, "Let's do jiu-jitsu." I was like, all right. So I went up to my mom. My mom, who was myself, who was teaching us. She was like, all right, I'll let you go. Okay. And I started training. And once I stopped, when I was, right after there was this whole situation there of him changing place and everything. I think I was about 10, 11. When I came back training, Marcelo had already moved here because he moved here back in 2008.
Okay.
So I was a little bit older as well, and I started training with Master Dulcinei Pretinho, which he's from Grayson Maitá. It's the same school that Marcelo has been through. So he was like, okay, go with this guy, start again, start training. And this was like 6 months before coming here. Okay. Until And
you were a white belt at that time.
I had got my yellow belt before when I was a kid.
Okay.
When I started back, they were like, I told them like, look, I know it's weird because I didn't remember nothing, man. Like I didn't remember how to do an arm bar. You're a kid, you're usually playing, you're showing stuff. Like I couldn't remember like the rough parts of it, but the details of the techniques like was all my stuff. So I told the guys like, look, I'm a yellow belt. Like, am I still a yellow belt? Am I a white belt? What's going on? So they were like, no, if you're a yellow belt, you're a yellow belt. And I still have the certificate, by the way. It's crazy. It's cute.
Nice.
So yeah, I was a yellow belt, started again, had to start everything from scratch. And then I came here and Marcel took me under him. And
where did you train in the UAE when you started?
Zaid Al Thani School.
Okay. In the school.
It used to be before when it used to be in Khalidia, very in the beginning of the project, even like Marcelo used to do already some after class kind of classes.
I got you. Okay.
To prepare to have like a competition team, and so he would go home, pick me up from school, and then we would go back to his school where we would train with like me, his students, and
I see.
Try to get some.
My first interaction with you was I think 2013, 2014. I want to say I was still a white belt. You were a blue belt. There was you, Libby, and a purple belt local guy. I can't remember his name right now. And we were the only colored belts. And then it was just a black belt training. We were there. So I remember we had a good training. And that was my first interaction with you. And your brother was there. What's your brother's name?
Kaique.
Yeah. Adorable. Like, how old is he now?
Man, he just turned 8.
Oh wow! Okay, so he was 2.
Yeah, man.
Oh wow!
Man, he was pretty young. Must have been pretty young. Yeah, man. Kaique was born on the next week. Like he already had like a small kimono. I
love it, man. Because he had a kimono there, bro. When we were training, he was wearing a kimono, and he'd run up to you, and you were playing with him. To me, I'm like, man, wow, this guy's such a cool guy. You were 16, 17 max. No, you were 16 because you were still a blue belt.
Blue belt, yeah. Blue belt.
And I saw how you were interacting with him, and I saw how happy Marcelo was. And I'm looking at you guys, I'm like, man, it gave me good feelings for Jiu-Jitsu. It was my first experience to see like how Jiu-Jitsu applies to a family environment. And it made me happy.
Yeah.
It made me excited to have my own child, which I do now, and I put the gi on him and I train him. But believe it or not, you guys rubbed off such an influence on me, whether you knew it or not, because that's the impact of Jiu-Jitsu. You know, when a person's starting and they're a white belt, they look around them to see, you know, what is Jiu-Jitsu? What is this environment I have myself in? And if you're surrounded by like MMA fighters, competitors, and tough guys, then you're going to have that attitude towards Jiu-Jitsu. But when I was in the environment that I am in the UAE, and especially with the arena and the coaches, it was a family environment. And the Brazilians stuck together really close. I like that, you know?
Yeah, man. Back home, like in our household, there was always a match. There was always something. So even like, for example, there used to be like times where Marcelo would be in me like, let's do some, I don't know, self-defense positions, and we would just put up the mats in the living room. Everybody would do it. Sometimes my mom would put the kimono as well to join and see what's like. You know, my brother would be around, so we would like try to play around him. Even nowadays, sometimes
that's cool.
I was just now on his birthday, and like I started messing around with him, and I'll pick him up like, so let's see like what you do if you do this. Like, okay, I'm gonna put my hands on your knee, and like we start to play, man. Like
I love it. I love it.
It becomes kind of a like we embrace it. There's no other word to say.
Man, it's really great to hear your attitude more than anything as well. Like between the move, like your attitude towards let's go, this is an opportunity, your attitude towards family and Jiu-Jitsu, it's refreshing. A lot of people, they bring a lot of baggage with things that happen to them. You went for it, man. And I think like things worked out. I wanted to ask you, when it comes to you growing up, you're studying, you're starting to develop your experience in life, you're approaching university, and you're training Jiu-Jitsu and getting promoted. Talk to me about the balance. Like, was it Jiu-Jitsu is fun, it's hobby, it's fun, or am I going to do something in Jiu-Jitsu? Like, where's your mind?
Man, I always had this dream. Like, I always used to see, once I saw Marcel and like what he was doing, like, and how he used to conduct himself, and just to have the life that he was having, like like this whole martial arts and this whole sport could offer to me. I was like, man, you know what? I want this for my life. Like, I never liked classrooms or studying or offices or stuff like that.
I got you.
Man, I want to let's give it a try. You know, if it works, it works. And my mom, she was always like, Bono, you need to get your blue belts. You need to get your purple belts. You need to get your brown belts. You need to get your black belts. You need to train.
I love it. I love it. I thought you were gonna tell you. She was like, you have to get your degree. You have to get it. But no, she went for what I.
That too.
Okay.
That too.
Okay, cool. No, but respect to Mama, man, because I'm happy she wanted the belts for you.
Yeah, man. My mom, she I think in the end she just wanted me to be busy or something. I don't know, but she always pushed me, and she knows what's like sometimes back home. So you know, I was kind of telling me like, you gotta hustle. Like even nowadays, like you're born, you're not doing anything. Get a course, do a course, study, do some workouts. If you like CrossFit, put work into it. You know, hustle.
So you get this attitude from your mother. You get this attitude from her of let's go, let's try new things for sure. And
always.
I mean, like for everybody listening that might not know Marcelo is a personality. Like he's very well respected in the Jiu-Jitsu community. He's admired. I really personally really like him because every time I've interacted with Marcelo, he's been so kind to me, so respectful. Like it's just I felt safe around him, especially as a white belt, blue belt. When he's there, I'm like, I'm good, man. He's here. Yeah,
man. He has a rough look. But he has the softest heart.
I absolutely understand.
Find somebody like what I have learned from that guy, the amount of wisdom that he has got to me, the surprise. Like, man, the thing of Marcel is always about a surprise as well.
Yeah,
like you never know when that guy's gonna like surprise you, and then like, all right, here's like either gives you a challenge that you need to overcome, or pushes you a little bit harder when you think you're already going hard, pushes you a little bit more.
I see.
Or when he's gonna be, sit down with you, talking to you, and just be understanding, be that guy that you need him to be. Like, he's going to be there. And
amazing,
man, until the end, I'm going to be that guy for him too, whether he wants or not.
Man, I love to hear this. I really do. I'm a family guy. I'm very attached to my family, my kids, and I look to people for wisdom when it comes to fatherhood. For you know, like you look for role models in sports and CrossFit and Jiu Jitsu. I look for role models now as fathers, to see guys that carry that personality. And I always like to hear these stories. It's funny, man, because I grew up in an environment as well of like business and all of this construction and I don't know what. And you find that these highly educated people with degrees and certificates have no life skills. They're great at business, they're great at work, but families falling apart, personal life is non-existent. Like now this Corona time, they go home like, shit, I have to be here. I don't know anything about this place, you know?
Yeah.
When you see the Jiu-Jitsu community and a Jiu-Jitsu guy, coach especially, they're very, very well-rounded life skill side.
Yeah. Man, Jiu-Jitsu makes you take the wisdom that you learn in the mats a lot of times for everything that you do, you know. So brotherhood, loyalty, you know, respect. Sometimes even when you're fighting with somebody or like you're having problems with somebody at home, you're gonna stop, think again, you know. Maybe you even go for a jiu-jitsu session, like just try to choke or be chokes, you know, and
absolutely,
you know, you're gonna come down and be thinking like, you know what, maybe that person has a point, or maybe I'm not understanding that point of view the same way sometimes on the mats, man.
Yeah,
you're trying to do a technique, the other guy's doing another technique, and you know, maybe you're just not, you know, matching with each other, you know.
You know, it's funny you mentioned this, because that's the thing. Like some adults, let's say, I started jiu-jitsu at 26, right? A bit older in my life. So my first interaction with jiu-jitsu, I recognized the benefit of constantly failing and coming back for more to get better. But I always wondered, like a younger person, like my nephew does jiu-jitsu now, but I can't really have this conversation with him. So I want to ask you, growing up around jiu-jitsu and experiencing that failure and that friction, because at some point you have to hit a wall to pass in jiu-jitsu. How did that feel growing up? Did you see it as, because you have this mentality, I like it. Did you see it as an opportunity to grow?
Man, at the time I didn't even see as a, like, I was a challenge, but I didn't see like as like let's say a wall exactly. I just saw like, man, I need what the hell? Why is it not working? Especially when I first came out here, I was competing in every single tournament that I could, you know, trying to just train, you know, trying to have some fun and everything. But I was always either losing on the first match or second match, and I was like to almost hate myself. Like, man, you're so stupid. You're not doing the same things you're doing in the gym. You know, you're putting the time. And then that's what I'm saying. Like Marcel would come to me like, you know what, Bono, calm down. Let's try again. Come down. Let's try again. And I was like, all right, let's try again. Let's try again. Until, man, I got to a point where I started winning. And then I started winning. I won all my division for the yellow belt division. And then I started winning all the division for the orange belt division, until we got to the blue belt, when I started losing again, and I had to have that mindset again. Like, man, no, let's go. Let's overcome this, and you know, and get over. And man, it's just something that you don't really grasp at first, but then now looking back, I see like, all right, that's what it is. That's the mindset that sometimes you need to have. So something outside the mats.
Could you, for everybody listening, elaborate on that mindset? Because this is something that I myself hit that wall. It's in competing. A lot of people, they train and they love jiu-jitsu. They go to their first competition, they get heartbroken because they don't get the result that they were expecting, and they don't know what went wrong, because I'm training hard and I'm doing everything I need to do, but when I go to the competition, I fall short. Is there something in there, some wisdom you want to share with everybody?
Don't stop. Be patient.
I like it.
Be patient with yourself. You know, it's not about how many times you fall down, but how many times you stand up. So, man, if you don't hit the result that you like, or man, trying to fix whatever it is, maybe in your game, and maybe sometimes, man, I have lost fights because I simply wasn't just feeling well that day. You know, I didn't want to be there. Like I was maybe a little bit nervous, maybe a bit anxious, and I didn't think right. And man, you need to get yourself used to, you know, like to, man, something's not working, change a little bit, try again. You know, there's no other way other than that. It's just really having patience with yourself. And man, the competition side of it for me was always more like of a test to see whether what I was doing is working or not,
to fine tune.
But the real work, like what the real wisdom becomes most of the time when you're in the classroom with your teammates, you know, with your friends. And that's when you're really learning the martial arts, because you're going to see a lot of the guys that know, man, maybe 1,000 techniques, 1,000 positions, but they They don't do 1,000 positions when they're fighting. They're gonna have their game, which they're gonna apply in the competition, you know. But maybe when they're teaching or when they're around their friends, man, they're gonna show like, no, let me show something else. Let me show something completely different from what maybe the guy do, you know.
I like that. I mean, you know, like with this conversation of like competition and stuff, it pretty much sounds like a person's first experience in jiu-jitsu. First time you go with a white belt and you train in the gym, not in a competition, you get your ass kicked. Right? What am I doing wrong? It's the same thing. Just keep showing up and you will get better. So competitions, keep showing up and you will get better, you know? But I think like on a larger picture is competing in jiu-jitsu is the tip of the iceberg. It's shiny. It's the one we all see. It's the gold medals, the guys on Instagram, but it's not jiu-jitsu. It's the 20%. Or the 10%.
Exactly.
Right?
You said it all. It's not what we are doing every day in the week.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, man, if you go hard the same way and go on competition, I'm sorry, man, you're not going to make far.
Absolutely.
You know, if that's something that I learned, especially when it comes to ego, you know, and all these emotions that you have when you're competing, that I do advise everybody to go and feel them, because it's also important to learn them and learn about yourself as well.
Yeah. Try it through your own experience.
Man, don't do that every day in the gym. You know, if you lose for a guy, if you need to tap, and that's what I'm saying, man. That's the only way of learning. You need to show up, put in the work, you know, and there's no way around it.
I definitely want to come back to jiu-jitsu, but I want to touch on a topic that is also unique to you, as well as the whole first generation black belt growing up in the UAE. Another thing about you is CrossFit. All right. So a little prefix for people before we get into this is I saw you on the mats in white belt, and I like 3 times in the arena. And you were always in shape. You were never a person that's overweight, or you were never skinny, but you weren't jacked. All right. So here's the funny situation is I'm walking with my sister. It was my nephew's competition that day, and you were involved with the event somehow. I see Marcelo. What's up? High five. I bump into him a lot. And Marcelo's looking shredded, by the way. He's looking good. But so I'm walking, and then like I bump into somebody. It felt like a brick. And then I look, hey. And you said, hey, you had a beard. You never had a beard before.
Yeah.
And listen, if I didn't know you do jiu-jitsu, I would have thought you just got out of jail. Because you know those American movies where the guy gets stuck in jail, does a few push-ups, some sit-ups, and he comes out fucking jacked.
Yeah.
From when I saw you in 2013 to 2020, man, you put on some mass.
Yeah. Man, CrossFit.
Okay.
Actually, CrossFit didn't come to like late in my life, to be honest. Like I started CrossFit 2-3 years ago.
And how old are you now, by the way?
Before that, I'm 24.
24. So 21 you started CrossFit, let's say.
Yeah, okay. 21. Yeah, just about 21. Man, but that's the thing. I always used to watch, man, André Galvão, Xande Ribeiro.
Oh, okay, I see.
All these guys, and these like, man, I like the sport, but I also like to look good.
Okay.
Like I want, like, you know, I liked working out. So I liked sweat. As I told you, man, I was never the kind of guy that likes to be sitting down, you know, in class. Even now, man, like I never played so much video game as I'm playing now. I'm not playing a lot because I just don't sit well sitting down steady. You know, I need to be moving. I need to be doing something.
I get you.
And also my friends in Brazil, once at first, I think that's when I met you. I was doing a lot of like exercise that you just had started like trying to pump some iron, you know, like trying to do something towards that. But even before then, I used to always do a lot of push-ups, you know, just as a physical training for jiu-jitsu. And I always try to see something as like accessory for jiu-jitsu.
And did you see CrossFit as an accessory to jiu-jitsu?
Man, CrossFit's funny because I always wanted to do something towards fitness, towards, you know, something that could, like physical education, something that could also put up with jiu-jitsu or like even help.
To be a specialist.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Especially, but like something that I can get to help for jiu-jitsu, or maybe something that I can maybe work with in the future. And me and Marcelo, we always talk like, yeah, there's some courses, a personal trainer, something. There's this course, CrossFit course that's going to be in Abu Dhabi. I think that was a month before or something. I was like that, and I was, all right, I'm going to give it a try. And I did the course, the level 1 certification, before even ever going into a CrossFit class. I had no idea what like they did Olympic lifting or nothing. And man, I did the course, I passed. I loved it, and that's what I have been doing ever since. Especially because CrossFit, very much like Jiu-Jitsu, there's the competition aspect of it.
Yes.
And one thing that I always hated about the gym was like, I would do 9 reps, stop, look at my phone, look around, and I would see another guy doing the same thing that I was doing. I was like, I think I can pull more than that guy, but I could do nothing about it. It's like, what am I gonna do? Like, beside him, like doing them curls. Like,
some people fucking do that, and you know it.
I know.
There are guys, man.
Don't. If you're listening to this podcast and you do this, please stop. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, nobody wants to know.
Absolutely, man. You got these guys that they wait till you're done bench pressing and they come and they warm up with your final weight, man. There's people that they get their ego fixed from this.
100%.
So you like the competitive aspect of CrossFit?
Yeah, that's what got me into it, and also like the idea of like every day doing something different. You know, it's not like, oh, it's Monday, it's chest day. So it's, you know, like there's every day you do something different. So
you were doing that in the beginning. You were doing the bodybuilding format before CrossFit, right? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, like that's something that I can relate to, not the CrossFit side. I consider it a near-death experience because the one time I did CrossFit, I felt I was gonna die. Worse than Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, for me with Jiu Jitsu, there's a goal in mind, right? The goal is to get better at Jiu Jitsu and to fight better, and I don't know what. In CrossFit, the goal is to get more pain. There is no like the problem is most people, they work out and they exercise to protect themselves and to go back to exercising without pain. CrossFitters, they go straight to the pain. they look for it. Where the fuck are you?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine once about it, and we were like looking at each other like, man, everybody who does CrossFit must have something wrong. Like they must like pain. They must really hate themselves, you know, something. Because the things that we do, it's a bit like, why are you doing that? Like, but at the same time, man, it's something that you get addicted. It's just like any other sport, you know, like even Jiu-Jitsu, like something that if you come back and you keep, you know, trying to develop like your skills and everything, because you learn things as well as you go along. Since CrossFit's based on like cardiovascular activities as well as gymnastics, Olympic lifting, there's always something you're gonna learn, you know. So for example, the first time I did my ring muscle up, man, I was the happiest man on the planet. It's the same thing like when I first submitted somebody in the armbar. I was like,
that.
Finally, I got it. I understood it.
I see. You know? I see. I can relate.
Took me a while though. Took me a while.
So, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, could you break down CrossFit for everybody listening? Because like, there's metabolic conditioning, there's Olympic lifting, like you're saying. What are the main branches of CrossFit for you? Yeah,
the main branches is what I just said. The cardiovascular exercise, so it would be running, rowing, skiing, stuff like that, swimming. Then you got the gymnastics aspect, which is basically the body weight movements, which are the pull-ups, the dips, the muscle ups, the push-ups, you know.
Okay.
And then you have the Olympic lifting aspect, which is the cleans. It's what people usually like to post on Instagram, like the heavy cleans, you know, the cleans and jerks and stuff like that. And then we have the aspects. Once you start mastering everything, you get the aspects of sport because, man, it's just like Jiu-Jitsu. If you don't learn the technique, if you don't learn the rights, you're gonna get injured. If you put in straight in competition or something like that,
right?
It's not the best idea, you know. But you also got like strongman, kind of some things from strongman that you also adapt it. We put in CrossFit, so you have like the
max lifts,
heavy stuff, like not even max lifts, but like heavy kettlebells or heavy those sandbags that people just like to throw off the shoulders. You know, you do add up things like that as well. But it's mostly based on these three things.
So getting into CrossFit, and then like obviously you start out lifting a few weights, doing a few exercises, and you get into it. But at what point do you start focusing on nutrition and like, did you ever focus on nutrition getting into CrossFit or no?
Man, I was always focused on nutrition, but that wasn't even because of CrossFit. It was because of Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I always had to make weight for competitions, and Marcelo, he always like tried to show me like. Marcelo is on my mom as well. They always try to show me like, look, there's too much fat in that. You know, don't eat fast food. Try to go for like clean food. Let's cook something at home. You know.
I like that. Okay.
I started to now even more than ever. I'm really into it. So we'll see. I'm trying to study as much as I can. I'm doing a course now to have some skills at coaching nutrition. And man, it's something. It's a little bit hard because everybody like has a type of everybody type of diet or nutrition that they like, or the lifestyle that they can adapt it around.
Sure.
But it's interesting, man. I always loved it. It was something that I always tried to pick on as well.
You know, like when it comes to nutrition, this is a topic that's very close to home for me because I had a very serious spine surgery in 2005.
Oh, wow.
And I had to fuse my vertebrae, my lower two. And there was my right leg, I have no sensation on it. So it's pretty much numb. I can control the muscle, but I can't feel the leg. So this is something that was like a heartbreaking moment for me. And I went through a depressive phase, gained a lot of weight. And I would have never imagined I'd be doing Jiu Jitsu today. But I actually decided to take it into my own hands and study nutrition, sports science, and conditioning. I got a degree in that for myself, not for any commercial reason.
Wow.
And then I applied it as much as I can to lose weight. And it's unbelievable how little your average person knows about their food when they know everything about their car, everything about their favorite football player, and they don't know shit about how their body works.
Man, it's crazy. I have heard all the kind of things throughout the years. Like, I had people telling me like, "Oh, is chicken bad for you? Like, is it good? Is it bad?" I was like, "No, chicken is all right." You know? And I think what people they don't understand very much is, all right, you should always carry in mind like, don't stay away from sugar. You know, try to stay away from fast foods as much as you can, processed foods. Right. But also don't be afraid of eating well. Such things as like even the silly things like, oh, I want to lose weight, and then they cut off all the potatoes and like all the vegetables. Man, that's terrible for you. You shouldn't cut vegetables off your diet.
See, this is something that's beautiful to talk about. I'd love your opinion on this. Recently, ketogenic, right? And I actually manipulated my body a lot using ketogenic because I was overweight. Right. Sometimes when you're overweight, you can afford ketosis.
Yes.
But I wanted to see your opinion as a person who does CrossFit and Jiu Jitsu. Do you disagree with a ketogenic approach, a low carb approach for these sports?
Man, I'm gonna say what I feel for myself.
Yes.
For myself, I would feel, especially because I have a very high metabolism because I've always been doing sports. I eat a lot. So if I cut off my carbs and I do a ketogenic diet, I probably would lose a lot of weight real quick. You know, because the fat that I'm going to be consuming, my body's going to burn it right away while I'm doing sports, and I need to sustain muscle mass and need to sustain other things.
Right.
And so for myself, I wouldn't exactly be the best person to be adapted to it. However, you know, if you feel like trying, if you study, if you see a doctor and he gives a good to go, a nutritionist, you know, somebody who, you know, understands or has done it before, because I also have never done it.
Yeah.
Man, go for it. So why not? It's like the beautiful thing about sports and nutrition and all of that, even jiu-jitsu, everything, man, you're doing an experiment with yourself.
That's true.
You know, so if you do something that you don't feel, or if you're not feeling good, or you feel like you're getting too tired, or man, I'm overtraining or something, anything like that, man, you can always change. Step back, do something else. You know?
That's the thing that I think a lot of people hit a wall with, because they lack the knowledge and they go with a cookie cutter plan, right? They don't go with a customized and tweaking plan for themselves, like you're saying. It's fixed. They hit a wall here and then they hit a wall there, and they're like, fuck it. And they drop both things, you know? And that's the shame. I think people should definitely invest more time in finding people similar to their body type, similar to their style. Even jiu-jitsu, right? Like, I got some knee issues that give me problems when I'm playing guard, so I focus on the half guard players. I focus on certain techniques that play towards my body. Food, sports, I think is also the same. Are you planning on competing and being an athlete in CrossFit?
Man, I have planned around that as well, but honestly, not right now, because I mean, as you know, everything's closed. Everything that we know towards competition has been postponed. Yeah, and like we'll see, man. I'm don't have like the same weights that sometimes some other athletes do have at their home or their garage or something like that.
That's true.
But actually, this year I was planning on trying to compete on jiu-jitsu again, because for some time now I haven't been competing because I've been like teaching and doing everything else. So me and my partner that we're teaching my partner that teaches in the same school as I do, Fernando, he's been pushing me a lot. Like, man, let's train today, and we have been pushing each other. So I was thinking to myself, like, man, I can't come back. Like, I can't do it. But then this all happened, and now it's like, try to keep in shape. Don't drop the ball too much.
But the situation, a lot of people are saying, oh, the situation, I can't do this. It leveled the playing field. Nobody can do shit. Mm-hmm. If you can't, they can't. Yeah. Okay, they have a few more weights. Okay, he has a wife that trains Jiu Jitsu. But yeah, in the end of the day, it doesn't really make that big of a difference.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, man, what happened? Nobody expected this.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
I had trips that I had to cancel. I know plenty of people who had to cancel a lot of things they were looking forward to for a year and plus. So, man, it's something that whether we want it or not, as I said, like something from Jiu-Jitsu, man. Yeah. Accept it. Think about it. Try to improve what you can. Try to do your 10% elsewhere. Maybe studying. Maybe. Yeah. Trying to keep in shape. Maybe try to eat cleaner now, since you're not out. I mean, allowed to go out and go to restaurants and stuff like that. Try
Great
to
advice.
Food, see how your body, reacts to it, and if it makes you feel good, why not try to push a little bit after as well as when it's all done.
I like what you're saying, because you just like rang a little light bulb in my head, which makes sense. It's that this is our only opportunity in life for us to control the variables, because most of our lives, there's so much change that you can't control all the variables. You got to go out, you run out of gas, the street is packed, you get late to your next meal, so you have to binge on something that you didn't want to binge on, all this shit. Now it's all been leveled. The variables are under your control. It's up to you what happens to your body,
100%.
Yeah, that's 100%. A nice way. That's a nice way.
I mean, man, you can always try to do, I had this guy, I don't know if you follow him. Have you heard of David Goggins?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love that guy. And the amount of work that I see that guy doing, like what he says, he's right, man.
It's exhausting.
10%, man, what that guy does is crazy. And man, it's always that thing. If you can do 1% better every day or 10% better than what you did yesterday, man, do it. Yeah. If you're stuck in the couch and you're not doing anything, your 10% is just getting up and doing something.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm not feeling a little bit sore, so maybe it's eating clean all day. It's maybe doing intermittent fasting, or then the other day, man, back at it again. Like try to do some odd exercise.
Yeah, man, you don't have to keep getting better at one thing. Exactly.
No. There's too many things that you can improve on to improve not only your fitness size, but also like your quality of life, man.
Absolutely.
It's all about quality of life.
I saw you posted on Instagram yesterday. You working out with a kettlebell. All right. Now, the only thing I can probably relate to you working out wise is kettlebell. Yeah. This is something that I've really gotten into this last year, and I'm loving it. I love training with kettlebells.
Man, that's something that I'm really getting into it now, because I always liked it, but I never got it into as much. And now, because man, as I said, no gym equipment.
Exactly.
I have a couple of stuff here at home, but I don't use it as much. And luckily, I got these 2 kettlebells that I have. And man, I'm trying to try so many new things with them. I already knew a couple of stuff from CrossFit and like from trying the gym and some kettlebell complex, but man, never like before. So like, man, now the back of my forearms are a little bit sore, from all the cleans and like stuff like that. And
good for jiu-jitsu.
Exactly, like the things that you work when you work around the kettlebell, it's great not only for fighters, but like, man, literally everything. I feel like I do sometimes some workouts to the kettlebell, and then I feel sore after, just as if I was, hitting the weights or doing anything else.
I think that the important thing for people to consider when they're starting kettlebells, it has a higher chance of injury because it's not as linear as dumbbells. Dumbbells are by design linear. Kettlebells are versatile, dynamic, which means you can fuck up,
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, what would you advise people starting kettlebell? What should they focus on?
Man, start light, practice that technique. Technique, it's the base of everything. Have that body awareness. Film yourself if you need to. Watch it again. Do a set of reps, film it. Watch. My back's not straight. Let's put the chest more open.
Okay.
Let the swing. Don't cover your back. Let the swing go as smooth as you can and stuff like. Try to work with it, and don't go crazy right away with the weights, because people see the big kettlebells, they see the big weights, even with the Olympic lifting and everything, man, they just go like, all right, I can do it. And then they do it, or they can't do it, and then they wreck their body doing
that. Exactly.
Like, what, they're not getting the benefits of it. So
I mean,
go slowly.
An athlete like you, a person like you is saying that I feel sore after kettlebell. A guy that does CrossFit and Jiu Jitsu and all of this. So like your average guy should expect the levels of soreness doing kettlebells. But you know, Bono, I really think it's going to be interesting after this whole coronavirus pandemic. The amount of people right now realizing how much they can actually get done at home in terms of workout, in terms of productivity. Right? That before they'd be like, no, I have to go to an office to do this. No, I have to go to the gym with 100 treadmills and coaches to do this. Now they're like, no, man, interesting. I can do this on my own with a kettlebell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, man, the one thing that I really hope that people start to understand now, especially with this, is how important it is for you to take care of your body, your health, your immune system. And huge. Man, just to, it's something that you can do. Nobody needs to be the top performing athletes of a sport, of anything. But maybe sometime that you just want to do, because as we did with jiu-jitsu, especially you, like as a hobby, and trying to start it because you like, it's that time of the day where you go to turn everything off. Let's enjoy it. And I don't know about you, but some things that I enjoy, I always make time for them. I always make excuse. I always make time. Mom, sorry, I cannot do that today. I cannot clean my room. Why? I'm going for CrossFit. I'm going for Jiu-Jitsu. No, wait. What do you mean you're going? No, Mom, it's important, but it's something that I enjoy. I'm making time because I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And that's how I feel like people should like try to see like taking care of their body like it. If it's not Jiu-Jitsu, if it's not swimming, something, man, do something that you like. There's plenty of stuff.
Sometimes it's different perspectives. You are blessed with a perspective, and you have obviously developed it enough to not feel this repercussion. Basically, a lot of people, they procrastinate. They want to get healthy. They want to get in shape. They want to do jiu-jitsu. They're interested, but they procrastinate it. And people think it's because they want to have everything perfect. I'm a perfectionist and all of this shit. And it really boils down to they're intimidated of failing, or they're scared of it. So they use the excuse of perfection and the excuse of the right moment and the right chance. And now
they want the perfect day.
And now it's the fucking perfect day every day to learn to draw, to get your nutrition license, to study sports. It's the perfect day for everything right now. So people should be getting off their ass, not spending the entire day watching shit and playing shit. They should do shit that they always wanted.
Exactly. I mean, it's what I said, man. That's one thing that I really hope that people start to understand how important it is for you to take care of yourself. And especially because, like, whether you want it or not, the COVID-19 disease is something that's especially affecting. You see the rates in the US and everything. People who are overweight, people who have cardiovascular problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting way more affected than people who maybe are taking care of themselves, and trying to keep in shape or just trying to keep active.
Your immune system is the result of your daily actions, man. And if your daily actions don't improve your immune system, it hurts it. So that's it. I think
exactly.
I'm an optimist. I was talking about this yesterday with Risto on my podcast. Is I see this as a good thing, despite obviously there's a lot of bad in any situation, but I see it as a good thing because it's raising awareness of things that we would have not looked at for another 20 years. Health, immune system, the way that we conduct our lives, the way that we go about business. It's outdated. No, everybody's now online, man.
Yeah, I mean, man, it shows how much we have forgot not only how the environment around us can be powerful, but also how we simply forgot where we actually came from. Nowadays we're so involved with technology, working cars, the big cities, and sometimes we forgot, man, this was maybe 100 years ago when there was a Spanish flu, people went and 100 years before that. And this used to be a common thing, Normal flu used to kill a lot of people. It still does.
Absolutely.
But nobody talks about it because, man, Instagram, Facebook, the media even sometimes they don't cover it because, I don't know, we live in a comfortable life that we got ourselves into,
True.
So, man, hopefully now people will start to be more aware about this stuff. And, man, as you said as well, I'm just hoping that people try to get the most of it, when it all ends and people come back to their daily life.
Well, I'm sure you're definitely getting the most out of it, man. You're a guy that needs no motivation. You're a self-motivated, and I respect that. Listen, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, how they can discover you, and what you're up to. Like, are you doing anything? Do you have any plans that people should know about?
Man, right now, not especially. As I told you, I'm trying to get my certification on coach nutrition, and I'm gonna have another plans for like another certification that I'm gonna be getting to by
Nice.
the end of the year, hopefully. But right now, as I said before, I'm trying to focus a lot. I was trying to focus a lot more on my coaching with my students in the school. But hey, man, I'm all about like, if I can help somebody, I always will. So if people want to reach me out on my Instagram, DM me, I'm more than welcome. I haven't been sharing much of what I have been doing, but if people want, sure, I'll post it about, put a little bit of the workouts I do. I can expand if somebody needs some help, anything, man.
Now's the time, man. Now's the time. I think everybody's out there looking for somebody they can relate to, somebody that their personality they like, and let me learn from them, right? So this is the time to be out there, to putting out your content, to showing people the skills that you've developed. And because I really think, man, you've got a very nice mix of experience from your Jiu Jitsu to your CrossFit. So I really wish you luck, and we will definitely always stay in touch, I hope.
Man, 100%. I loved it. And man, as you said, like right now, I'm not putting that much content out because one of the things that I'm trying to do as well is try to stay away from my phone and try to work on that side because I was always on my phone.
Sure.
But for sure, man, like I'll start putting up stuff that I do, and man, 100%. It was such a pleasure for me to be
Thank
here.
you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bono Oliveira, everybody. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Hang out just a little bit and we'll chat to wrap this up. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in on 100%. Twitch. I'll have this up on YouTube and Spotify, iTunes soon as well, and I'll send you guys the link. Thanks a lot, guys. Signing off of Twitch. Be easy.